Hi there guys, thanks for joining me today. So we're going to be looking at the 5 new screenshots that were released for Final Fantasy XI Mobile Reboot. Now I say released, they weren't actually officially released. These were found attached to a job vacancy on the Nexon website, which is a bit peculiar really. It kind of reminds me of the original screenshots that were released back in 2016, if you remember. They were actually just part of a slideshow presentation at the annual Nexon Developers Conference. So we've got, as I said, 5 to go through. I've made quite a few notes. So the first one is actually 2 warriors looking out at what my guess would be Tarongi. Second is a Mithra female on a Chocobo in what looks to be Sandoria. Third appears to be that same Mithra running away from some orcs. Fourth is an Elven female in the Ronfar region. And the final one is actually a battle scenario, a party of 3, and they're taking on the Adamantamai, which is quite interesting. Okay, so yeah, so that's the 5 that we're going to be looking at. So yeah, let's have a more detailed look.
Okay, so here we are. This is the first screenshot of the 2 warriors. Looking over at, well, what I first thought was Buburimu, because the landscape and the geology of the rocks look very similar. Now these are some of the pictures from original Final Fantasy XI, and this is Buburimu, and you can see it is very similar, similar looking, similar shades, and it also has an outpost there, if you remember. But what makes me think this could actually be Tarongi is, if you look, I'm going to zoom in this bit, it appears to be like a skeleton, a large skeleton. And Tarongi does have quite a fair few skeletons just littering the landscape. So it could be Tarongi. Now another feature in this landscape is this large stone archway. It kind of looks like half natural, half man-made. Now I personally can't remember anywhere in Vanadil looking like that. I did go on the internet and found this image of a castle fort in Merifatid Mountains, which is a region close by. I can't really remember going there, but I have read that there are various structures and homes carved within these rocks and mountains. But also within this mountain region, there is actually a Windhurst outpost there, so that's quite interesting. Now I still think it is Tarongi. If you have a look at this tree that I've zoomed in, it is very similar to the ones that we would see whilst walking around in Tarongi Canyon. So let's quickly zoom in at the outpost. It's definitely Windhurst. You can't really see too much other than maybe a tower and a few banners. Now left of the large banner there's a smaller banner, and left of that looks like 2 figures. It might be my eyes playing tricks. But yeah, that's about it. There's nothing else that really tells us any more information about outposts within the rebooted world. Okay, so let's go back to the original picture and have a look. So we've had a look at the landscape and the outposts. So now let's have a quick look at the 2 characters. So on the left we have a Tarutaru, looks like female by the hairstyle. She's got a great axe, so could be a warrior. Also, she is wearing what seems to be like Windhurst colours. And the bloke on the right seems to be a male human. He's got a great sword, so he could be warrior, paladin, maybe a dark knight. And he seems to be wearing a slightly lighter armour, possibly a jerkin. So yeah, they're both looking out at the landscape, possibly heading towards that Windhurst outpost. From the screenshot, it doesn't really tell us any more about how the regions are going to be working. It does seem quite open, there's an open feel of it, maybe we can walk in and out of the outposts. I'm hoping they're going to bring across the system that they used in the original, the Conquest system. This is where the three nations, as well as all the beastmen, they fight for control of the region, and that gives you a bunch of bonuses. That would be really good to bring across, I think. Quickly, I have noticed that there is a second little settlement. I don't want to call it an outpost because it's quite small and it's very close to that Windhurst outpost. I'm not entirely sure what that building is. And also there seems to be, if I zoomed in there, a little burnt out campfire. So that is what my eagle eyes have seen from this screenshot, and that's my interpretation of this one. Let's move on to the next one. So this is the second screenshot that we've got here. It looks really great. So we've got here a Mithra on a Chocobo. Looks like she's some sort of warrior who's got a great axe. And it also looks like from the background that we're in the city of Sandoria. And she's wearing some heavier armour, looks like some sort of bronze coloured mail. What's interesting is she's actually on the Chocobo within the city walls. And being able to get around within the cities and the towns while still mounted would be a lot easier. Now, I would usually be cautious and say they're probably just using this as concept art, but actually if you look in the background there's another guy just trotting around on his Chocobo as well, so I reckon this could be an added part of the game, which would be yeah, really great. But if you also notice about that Chocobo in the background, it's a red Chocobo. And when they introduced Chocobo breeding to Final Fantasy XI Online, I wasn't actually about at that point. I'd stopped playing for a while. So yeah, Chocobo breeding, that's quite a statement to make so early on. But to include it in this screenshot seems to suggest they have quite a lot of content that they want to bring over from the original. So next up, I will start having a look at these the characters. So first off, the Tarutaru that seems to be in the white mage costume. Let's zoom in on him. I presume it's a him, it might not actually be. Just behind him as well there is an NPC guard. So if we look over to the left on the grassy verge, we've got a Gulka, and I think it could be a Tarutaru hiding in the grass as well, just there. Which is quite interesting. So the Gulka is fully kitted out in armour. And the Tarutaru I can barely really see. He's got blonde hair, and that's all I can pretty much see. And that's it for that screenshot. It's a really well put together image. It conjures up a lot of thoughts and questions of what this new rebooted Vana'diel is going to be like, especially within the city walls. Let's move on to the third one now. Okay, so this is the third screenshot. It looks really great graphics. This is Galesburg Outpost. It's quite a famous or recognisable little location. So this is it on Final Fantasy XI Online. It's a wonderful little active shot. This Mithra, I don't know if you recognise, I think she could be from the previous screenshot, the one riding a Chocobo in Sandoria. Now it's a bit of a cinematic shot, but her head isn't facing forward, so it could be that she is targeting one of the orcs, which is why he's glowing. But I just think it looks more of an action shot if she's not looking just straight ahead. So what are the reasons why the orcs could be glowing? Well, they could be enchanted, they could have end fire or bar fire. This guy's glowing really red. Now if you also notice to the left and right there's like flame remnants. Looks like there's been some sort of explosion or area effect damage, maybe caused by the Mithra, and so they both could be or one or both of them could have been feeling the effects of burn. Who knows, just a guess, perhaps we'll never know. However, that's a great shot. Actually, one of those Beastman banners at the back there is actually white. Do they turn different colours? Is that a thing? I don't know actually. I really like this screenshot a lot. Playing the original, I did run away quite a lot because I did end up soloing a fair amount. So I do hope that they sort out the running away aspect. I'd end up taking damage and being miles away from the mob. Oh well. Yeah, wonderful screenshot. Let's move on to the next. Okay, so this is the 4th screenshot. It looks great again, but it doesn't give much away at all. We can presume we're in like Run 4, because it's quite easy to recognise the sort of terrain. Temperate forest, woodland forests. Yeah, here's some little images from the original to reminisce over. And the character on the left is a Elvan female, and she's actually dressed in the brand new starter gear that you get, that you're dressed in when you first start the game. Other than that, there's not much to say, not much to give away, other than it looks really great. I mean, some of the graphics of the screenshots so far, they really do either, you know, match or go beyond the original Vana'diel world. Let's move on to the 5th and final screenshot. Okay, so this is the 5th and final screenshot that we're going to have a look at. As you can see, we've got a party of 3 battling an Adamantamai or an Adamantoise, and this is located in the Valley of Sorrows. That is where you normally find an Adamantamai. I'll put on screen one of these beasts and what would it actually look like in Final Fantasy XI Online, the original. Now, if we go back to the original screenshot, we can actually see these 3 characters may possibly have been in the previous screenshots. A couple of them would have had to have changed jobs, certainly. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that we've seen these 3 in the previous screenshots, which is quite a nice little touch. Something else that's interesting is the party of 3 has actually come up before, and in a very old screenshot. It's one of the originals. I don't know if you remembered or actually seen my previous videos. I actually used Photoshop to lighten the image, and we could see that there is in fact a party of 3. We don't even really know what this screen is, but it's based on Faith. Now, Faith was introduced later on in Final Fantasy XI Online to help solo players or people that had trouble finding parties when there was less players around, to be able to complete the game and do missions and dungeons and etc. It's just very intriguing that the number 3 has come up again. Is this going to be the maximum party number? I mean, in the original we could have 6. In my opinion, I think it's far too early to say how the combat is going to be working. We know Yoshi P said that's what they're currently working on, but it would kind of surprise me if this is a sort of an accurate concept of how combat will be working on the mobile devices. On this screenshot and all the other screenshots, in fact, there haven't been any overlays of the user interfaces, controls, abilities, etc. I'm very happy that we've got these screenshots, but there are many questions that still need to be answered, really.
So yeah, thanks for watching. That was my interpretation of the 5 screenshots. Let me know what your thoughts are. They've kind of made me feel a bit better overall about the game. The style have sort of moved away from what we saw in the original screenshots, and they're kind of going back towards the style of the original game, which in my opinion is a really good move.
So if you enjoyed my video, please click like, please subscribe. I know it's annoying. I'm hopefully going to put aside some time each week to try and upload some new channel content, and your likes and subs will give me much needed motivation to get me going. So thank you very much, and thank you for all the messages, comments and subs so far. Hopefully there'll be some more information, some official released information about the game real soon. Thank you very much for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.